welcome to this edition of Referees Corner here on IslandStats.com. I'm your host, Earl Basting. I'm joined by a host of youth referees. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. I'm going to start with Shayna here.
Evening, I'm Shayna Simmons.
Okay.
Evening, I'm Siobhan Nesbitt.
Evening, I'm Cavon Nesbitt.
Evening, I'm Nikhil Labra.
Evening, I'm General Truck.
Okay. All right. Well, pretty much I've met, I believe, each and every one of you already. But with the way football has been going, we've had a lot of stop starts, and now we've started again. How have you settled into football? I know you guys, some of you play as well, but we're talking about the officiating side. So we'll start with you, Dakota, on how you have adjusted to how with football restarting.
I would say I've adjusted pretty well. I mean, I don't really know.
You just go with the flow?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. All right. Shannon, what about you?
I would say I adjusted, but definitely my attitude. Like when I used to play football, it was like a just get through game, even done with a speedy games type of thing. But when you're actually a referee, it's hard. Like it's not the easiest job ever, but it is really fun.
Okay. And what about you, Nisbet?
For me personally, it's just been for football, just trying to stay sharp, doing stuff on my own, going for runs and stuff, going to the gym, just trying to stay sharp and ready.
Come on.
It's been normal.
What is normal for you?
Like with COVID and everything, it's no difference really to me.
Okay. All right. Jonah?
There's no really difference. I would just say it's adjusted for the wall, I guess. I'm just there doing trainings, showing up to games, helping out the community. As this year, there's not a lot of senior referees, so us youth referees had to step up this year, and so I'm assuming most of us are adjusting for the wall this year.
Okay. How intimidating is it that some of you guys have been doing the senior games, not just warm up games, but actually involved in Premier and First Division games? And I'm going to start with you. I'll start with you guys.
For me, just try not to put pressure on myself and take my time and make the correct decision, and try to ignore the fans, the players, and just stay focused on what I'm doing.
It's fun.
Fun? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Deborah?
I'll say like, yeah, just try to ignore the and just do it.
Okay. What about you, Jenna?
I love it. It's good experience for me, as I would love to pursue refereeing in my future and higher level refereeing. And so I love the crowd. I love the fans. I love the players. I love the intensity of the game. I love everything about it.
Shania?
I would say like you have to um like that like you said earlier, you don't try not to put as much pressure on yourself. because before each game, it's like really like, oh my gosh, because we're coming from being youth referees to now officiating older lot, and it's kind of scary at first, but then once you get into like a good 20 minutes of the game, you'll do it.
Mm. Now, the fact that some of the youth games have started, how have you adjusted to doing kind of both? Because now, I guess with more youth games, you guys will be doing a lot of that, but still helping out in ensuring that the senior games are covered. So, how do you plan to manage that, Jonah?
Well, honestly, starting with the senior referee games, as a youth referee, like learning a lot from the senior referees that I'm refereeing with. So when I'm adjusting and I'm switching over, like I take a lot of like the warm ups, the stretching, the intensity throughout the game, take that over to the youth referee games, and just helping myself to make sure I'm 100% with my decisions, and just making sure that I look professional when I'm doing my stuff.
Okay. What about you, Laura?
Um, I don't really know. It's like I like it. Like it's fun to do senior referees games. I mean senior games.
What about the youth games now that they're getting ready to start for you?
The youth games is the same. I like it. It's fun and it's kind of better for me because I know what to do more and there's not as much pressure.
Okay, cool. What about you, Shanae? Balancing those two.
Balancing is not really a problem for me. It's like just being in the right mindset of when you're doing a youth game and when you're doing an older game.
Mm, okay. And let's start with Kevin this time.
It's um like no, not that big of a difference. I prefer to do only line and senior games last work.
Oh, okay. What about you, Siobhan?
For me, starting off the season with the senior games has definitely made the youth games much easier for me because it's less pressure. I can definitely take my time and make the correct decision with the youth games.
Mm, okay. And now with with so much of this COVID stuff been going on, and we're not sure if and when football was going to start, but school comes into play. So now you've got school, other activities plus this refereeing stuff. Have you really all adjusted back into the flow how it was prior to the pandemic? And we'll start with you. We'll start with the Nisbets. How's that?
Yeah, it's all my schedule's all filling back up again, so I'm I'm happy about it.
It
Mm,
just gives me something to do.
okay, you like to be occupied there.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. How about you?
For me, is I like it because I get to do more stuff instead of just sitting home and doing nothing.
Mm, all right. And what about you, Shania?
I enjoy it. It's my schedule's gotten full again, but it gets me out, gets me active, so I like it.
Good stuff. All right, Jenna.
Yeah, I love it. My schedule's very it's full, but it's good exercise. It's good fitness for me. It keeps me alert. Yeah, just good for me.
Okay. Now, let me ask each and every one of you when you guys kick back in the training regime with the officials, what was one of the hardest things for you personally you had to go through to get back into it? And we'll start with you, Nicole.
One of the hardest things was like remembering how to usually flag and all that, and
Mm,
what things to call like I forgot. Can't say.
okay, all right. What about you, Jenna?
As the kid said, just remembering like recalling all the like calls and decisions and the rules and laws of the game. Just recapping all that stuff is probably the hardest thing.
Okay, and for you too.
Yeah, it's the same for me.
For
Mm,
me, position, not getting the ready ball.
okay, all right.
For me, it's about mentally getting prepared for it, especially with the fitness part of it, because like you gotta keep it up, I guess to say, to keep up with the games and all of that. So my
Mm,
mindset really get there.
okay. All right. Well, yeah. Everybody has their own little challenge that they feel that they need to overcome in order to get back. Now, what has been the easiest part of the return to football for you? We'll start with you, Shania.
The easiest part for me was I kept up with been trying to remember all signals and stuff when it came
Mhm.
to officiating. So like it was pretty like hands on for me. Like I got it pretty quickly.
Mm, okay. Kevon?
For me, it was fitness. That was the
Okay.
easiest.
It was easy. Kept yourself in shape during the pandemic.
Yeah.
All right, Siobhan?
Yeah, same for me. Fitness. Been doing stuff on my own, so I haven't been feeling the aches and pains I normally feel.
Okay. All right. How about yourself?
I was gonna say fitness too because I'm gonna get into the gym a lot.
Okay. All right. And Jenna?
I would say fitness, but at the same time, I would feel like I wasn't as nervous when I'm coming onto the pitch this year. Whereas last few years I'd always be nervous, making sure that I'm 100% about my calls. But this year I feel very confident about myself when I walk onto the pitch. So yeah.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. Now, obviously, it's a big pool of you youngsters doing these, getting involved in the program, and I figure you guys are some of the leaders of this program. But when you start seeing people like Natasha Trott, who has just come back from a CONCACAF tournament, you had Stephen Mabry. These are people that you're training with. You have Tashawn Simons, who's on the FIFA list. Do they give you guys kind of inspiration to kind of take it just a little step further, that here's someone training next to me or with me that I can aspire to be like or even go further? We'll start with you.
I would say yes because in my mind it's like I want to be better than them, so I will train hard.
Mm, good stuff.
Um, Maybe not with refereeing per se, but just putting myself out there,
Hmm.
and they give me like motivation to put myself out there and do my best. Really.
Good. Okay.
Rap is not what I want to do, but they definitely help.
Okay. You could utilize it to your advantage as a player. You're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Good stuff. All right. Now, what about you?
I'll definitely say yes. Like Natasha, she motivates me all the time. Like I want, I kept on thinking about wanting to get to that level and being able to go over and officiate and stuff. So it's a big motivation.
Okay. Jenna?
Yes, definitely. As the KO said, I would love to be better than them one day, or just as good as them one day. They inspire me as a referee, and being a FIFA certified referee or about to be one. Definitely Stephen. And Stephen helps me a lot throughout the training. Just love his personality as well.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. What has been the struggle rule wise since your return that you guys have struggled with? In your own interpretation of the laws. I know you guys have had a lot of time. You've had instructors come in. You guys have had a lot of time going over a lot of rules. But obviously, once the game starts in the field and you're on the field of play, there's always that one rule. Am I sure about this one particular rule? And how have you managed to convince yourself that the call you make is the correct call? And I'm going to start with you, Siobhan.
Yeah, just because football events happen in like a split second, and you got all the players coming at you, the coaches coming at you, the fans coming at you. So it's just really just thinking about what happened, assessing the situation, and coming up with 100% decision.
Yeah. What about you, Kevin?
For me, it's false. I have a different opinion than they do when it comes to falling and tackling.
Okay. Can you elaborate just a little? You're one of the you like to see contact. That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay. You're a defender. I take it.
yeah,
See, figured that. All right. You like to make sure that you're making that the contact is made when you're playing. So as a referee, you allow a little more contact than others.
yeah.
Okay. Cool. All righty. Taylor?
Um, I'll say it's the both sides that get me a little shook. The like because it's when you call it, sometimes the person like, no, I wasn't rap. They be yelling, and the spectators be yelling at you at the same time. But at the end of the day, it's what the rap says is what goes. So it's kind
Mhm.
when the spectators yell at you, it's kind of like a oh my gosh, did I really get it right type of thing. So it kind of makes you second guess yourself, but you gotta stay confident with your goal.
Mm. And what about you, Jenna?
I would say it's definitely fouls and misconducts, and determining if it's a no card, just a caution, or I mean no card, yellow card, or red card, and what they're for, and just being certain about my choice of cards or choice of not to give a card, and the reasoning of giving the card or reasoning of not giving a card, and so that if a player or coach asks me why I give the card, I can tell them 100% why, and just give them the the reasoning to the law book, or the reasoning to the game, I guess you could
Mm.
say.
Oh, okay. I understood that. I understood that. What about you?
I would say it would be offsides for me because like many fans and the players are shouting at you. It'll make you second guess yourself.
Mm. Okay. But let me ask you then, all of you, what has the what has the teaching and the drills taught you about those decisions that once you make them, that's it? I mean, okay, even if it is a mistake, it's the decision that's been made. So how has the training helped you understand that, you know, you've made a decision and you're confident with the decision that you made? Shannon?
Um, well, if we making a decision and the referee will either say yes, I agree with you, or if they don't agree with you, they'll like come over have a discussion, and they'll agree. They'll tell you like I think it was Jenna that said it. They'll tell you yes or
Hmm.
no if you're confident with the decision. If you have a good reasoning and why you made the decision you made and feel comfortable with it, but then that's your call. And then they could easily overrule it or they could go with you. So like we have a good we have a good staff of referees that have our backs on the field too. So it helps out a lot.
Great stuff. Great stuff. What about you guys?
The trainers definitely help me to slow down and take my time when I make a decision, and definitely making eye contact with the referee and having chats with the referee just to go and make sure we have a 100% decision.
Okay.
Yeah, they teach you like even if you're not sure, make sure you make your call like proper because they don't. They, at least if you do that, they'll think that you're right and you'll get the feedback from the crowd.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Good point. Okay. Yeah.
For me, it's really from the coaches because they say stand your ground, and even if you're wrong, just hold the flag like stern, and they just said like you're the ref, so you're in control of the game. So
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Jenna?
Well, for me, um, one thing I've definitely got from them is that you gotta be 110% like sure about your decision. Take your time about the decision if you're the referee, and AR, and when you're on the pitch or on the sidelines, you gotta even if you don't know like exactly or you're not 100% sure, you gotta fake it till you make it. You gotta look somewhat professional, you know, and you gotta be somewhat confident by yourself because if you're not, then you're gonna just get broken down by the players and the coaches and the fans, and you're just gonna look like a laughing stock if you're not. So yeah, just be certain about your decision. Take your time. Yeah, 100%.
Good. Good. Okay. And we're joined by Sarah Smith. Good evening, Sarah. How are you?
Good.
Good. Good. Welcome. Let me ask you real quick. How did you get involved in officiating?
Um, Ever since I was like 8 years old, I've always wanted to like ref, but
Okay.
my mom always said that I could do it like when I was like 11 or 12. So then when I was like 11, I started doing under seven games, and I just got more confident as I went.
Mm. Now, with some of the training that you've been going through, how has that helped your confidence in understanding the law? Next to you, Sarah.
Um, how has it helped me in understanding the law?
Yeah, the laws of the game.
It helps me as a player too, because then I know what I can and can't do.
Mhm. Okay. All right. Cool. Cool. Now, obviously, you guys are still active in playing as well. So in speaking with Mr. Williams and speaking with the president of the Referees Association, Mr. Christopher, how do you guys see yourselves playing out a season of playing, officiating youth and senior games as well, and not running yourselves out because because there's going to be other things you're going to want to do as well. So how do you plan, or how have you worked out, to get through a season and still have what one would consider a life? And we'll start with you, Kevin.
It's mostly only on the weekends, so I don't really have a problem with it.
Siobhan?
Um, when I need that break, that breather, just communicate with Mr. Williams and let him know that hey, I need to rest up so I don't stress myself out or or do too much like damage to my body.
Okay, good stuff. Janaea?
Well, I personally hung up my football playing boots since I was in S3, I believe. So it's working out fine for me.
Oh, okay. All right. What else do you do other than officiate there?
I I've done rugby. I've taken up rugby.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. KO?
I would say I like football, I like playing it and watching it. So
Hmm.
it's really no big deal to me.
Okay. Cool. What about you, Jenna?
I would say I'm a very busy person, but rest and nutrition is key. And so when they say rest, you gotta rest. And the communication between Mr. Williams and the youth referees is very good. Mr. Williams is always there for us. He's always open about anything. He makes us feel as though we're not forced to do this. It's on our um it's our decision to do this. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, just making sure that rest and nutrition, making sure that that's there. That helps. And my sports is my life, so I really don't have a problem with it.
Okay. Sarah, what about you? Gonna unmute. There
Um,
you
I
go.
don't I don't really have a problem with it. My games are like at 1, so I can do youth games at like 10 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
Then go to my games. Then sometimes I ref in the evening, like the senior games.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, I do have Mr. Williams joining us now. Mr. Williams, we have some very inspiring young people here that we've been talking to for a good while about officiating. Getting these young people involved in it and them putting their hand up to be a part of something is encouraging for the association as well as yourself.
Yes, it's definitely very encouraging. And I would like to give a huge shout out to everyone on the call because each of them have either a Premier Division match or a First Division. To be 13, 14 years old, being on a line, doing a First or Premier Division match, I'm sure you can imagine that can be a very daunting prospect. But these young people have stepped up to the plate, and I am extremely, I do mean extremely proud of all of them. So I just want to come on and definitely say thank you very much, young people, and continue doing what you do.
All right, and I want to encourage you all to continue doing what you're doing as well because you're making a difference in the game of football in Bermuda and helping us to move forward. And what you're learning from the officiating side, you could use not only in football but in life as well because it teaches you so many different things: decision making, understanding of rules and regulations, all those things you take into your daily life, and remember that you can always fall back on something of this nature. So, Mr. Williams, I would encourage you to encourage more young people to get involved in officiating here in Bermuda.
I'm doing my best, Mr. Bazin, but as you know, refereeing is not viewed in the best regard at times. So once again, I take my hat off to these young people because they have definitely stepped up to assist us. I have to give a big shout out in particular to Saar. He was on a game on Saturday night, FA Cup preliminary Boulevard versus Footy Kings, and
Hmm.
he stood up and did what he had to do. He made some calls which the Boulevard players and Spectre didn't like, but he stood there with confidence, made sure with his calls. So these guys are doing a phenomenal job, and I am hoping that they can inspire others. But as we know how most people view refereeing. So we're taking baby steps. That's all I can say. Baby steps.
Well, these ones are growing out of those diapers because they're actually now becoming the leaders. So I want to congratulate you all and continue to do the job you're doing, which is a wonderful job. And we look forward to seeing you on throughout the season in both youth and the senior league matches. Okay? Enjoy your evening, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Thank you very much, Mr. Basin. Thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you, Mr. Biz.